Okay. I wouldn't say we're running out of storage room. Yeah, it looks like we're running out of storage room, but we're not. But I want to be preemptive. If there's something you guys need to know about me, it's that I love my storage rooms. In order to not outgrow our tiny little garden shed, as cute as homey as it is, we're going to be building our next building for our treehouse system today. I may have done a little bit of building without you guys, but I figured you wouldn't be too mad if I did a really simple raised platform without you. Let me take you guys up there and we'll have a look. Okay, so the walls of the treehouse kind of all fold up to be enclosed or open like doors. And I've got them on opposite sides so that when you have to crouch to go through, it's just a little bit and you can get out. So there's also no falling out of the treehouse on accident, which I think is a stroke of genius. But we've got this little oak kind of rope bridge that connects so we can kind of walk across and be in the forest. And then we have a lovely area out here, which I would like to put torches on these. So what are we doing over here, you might ask? Well, we're going to this nice plateau. There's a boulder there. Nice foundation, because obviously physics matters in Minecraft. But the most important thing is, what are we making it out of, you might ask? Oh, ho, ho, ho. And the answer to that question is visible out this window. Sheep. We're making it out of sheep. Okay, maybe we're not making it out of sheep, but we're going to be making it out of the fluffy stuff that comes off of the sheep. We've been gathering wool. This is what I've been doing in the meantime while I was building that platform over there. We're going to need a lot of sheep. We don't have shears, which means every block of wool is one perished sheep. So it's just been slow and steady in the process of getting enough wool to make what will be the roof of the storage building. So we've been making sheep, and sheep have been eating my grass, and it's a close thing. I was worried we were going to lose grass. Luckily, the grass should grow from these fence blocks out, but the little rascals, they just love eating grass. I'm assuming these guys need to eat grass to grow up. I don't know what all the rules are for growing sheep is. I'm not a sheep farmer, but we've been doing good. We've got a stack and a half ish of white wool, and we're also using some light gray wool because, texture, make things look nice. And of course, because we have our pale oak, we can also use that to add some more texture and have some variance because, we've got like the stair blocks and stuff. Get out of here. If you were worried about the chicken population from the last episode, not to worry. They are slowly being rebuilt, even though I just had terrible luck there with the eggs. Excuse me, guys. So the plan is to clean up the plateau over there and start building our next building. Yeah, I don't know if we have enough white wool for the design that I have, but let's pop over there and see what it looks like. Okay, so this tree can probably stay. I get the feeling that's from another tree and that's from another tree. That's better. This tree, I think it might be cool to have a tree right there underneath the treehouse. This boulder obviously has to stay because we can't move the stone. We're not allowed to mine stone still. We're in the wood age. So without further ado, let us begin construction and break ground on this site. Here we go. We got the main base of our next portion of the treehouse done. Now this one's going to be considerably bigger than the first one, because it's storage and we care about having a lot of space. Now you might notice I've got this kind of plus, this cross that's going through the middle of the floor, and this stripe here has the red logs, and if you're really clever you'll realize the red logs lead to the red roofed building. Say that 10 times fast. The goal is that because this is going to get kind of, it's easy to get turned around inside this big barrel shaped building that's going to have chests on every wall, we're going to use a color code on the floor. So I need to decide really quick what color is going to be what direction. So I was thinking about it, and the colors that I want to build out of are the pale oak, of course. There's dark oak is a great one. I'm honestly considering the bamboo. And come to think of it, if this building is going to be white of sheep with some pale oak on the roof, maybe we don't want to have a white oak one, a pale oak one either. So I'm thinking let's do bamboo and maybe jungle, and then we'll do dark oak going this way. Yeah. Let me go grab those and we'll see what it looks like in the floor. Alright, so as it turns out, I don't have much of anything in my wood area of my storage room. But there is jungle, because we haven't built too much out of jungle. And then I found enough bamboo to make 2 blocks. And there was 1 dark oak left. So we'll strip those. And that's our 4 cardinal directions, one might say. I'm going to think on these. We might end up changing, and it depends on what we end up building anyway. But in the meantime, I'm out of dark oak and a couple other wood types, so I'm going to have to spend some time chopping down some trees. Gotta go... Oh! So that I can fix the holes in the floor. Yep. I gotta spend some time chopping down some trees. We've started growing... Ow! I am not going to make it through this episode if we're not careful. We're doing really good right now, too. If you guys notice, we got 31 levels. That's from breeding all the sheep. So we're going to try and protect those levels if we can. I started growing some bamboo. And we've got dark oak saplings ready to go inside. So I'm going to gather some resources. And next time you guys see me, it will be time to start wrapping up on the storage build, and then we can move in to our storage finally, which the organization is by far the most fun part. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, this may be the last time that I have to collect wool. I think I've got enough now. Sorry, chicken. Alright, so right now it's just a little bit of a convertible, one might say. The top is down, but we can change that really quick. So this is an interesting style. Oh, and if you guys didn't notice, we got the rope bridge done. This one droops down a lot more because it's a further distance. So I think that the drooping and the ropes kind of help it have that feeling to it. Okay, so inside here, we've got some interesting choices to make because I've actually never built something in this style before. So we're about to see how well this can actually go. I think it's gonna need some extra support on the outside, and these can kind of act like tent stakes or ropes, but I think the fences are going to give it the right look. So let me just kind of show the process here. And I did bring my pale oak, which I'm going to need. The goal is to try and keep the colors looking as realistic as possible, even though we're using the pale oak, which kind of has a little bit of a pink texture to it. If we keep the dark buckles up against the inside and we kind of let the pale oak exist not just for shadows, of course it's for the fine details. There it is. I'll have to get rid of that one. Then we'll use some of this light gray wool on the inside there. And then we're going to forget, of course, that we needed stairs. Luckily, I had just enough. And what we want to imitate right here is the light kind of sweeping motion of what a draped cloth would give. So we've got a couple different layers of blocks. We've got the normal wool blocks, which are our biggest space fillers. Then we've got the stairs and the slabs in the pale oak. And then after that, we have trapdoors and carpets, which is 3 pixels and 1 pixel. It's not perfect, but we actually do have a lot of variety to the point where we can kind of get this nice shape that flows up. Yeah, you see that motion? It kind of sweeps up, and then we'll connect them all in the middle, and it should provide a pretty interesting texture. You guys will have to let me know what you think, what improvements we can make. This is, like I was saying, this is a brand new building style for me, and it looks wrong when there's no support in the middle. There will be a big pillar in the middle of the tent that supports the whole canvas. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Alright, we're just putting the final touches on the roof here, and then I'll give it a little show and tell. But it is starting to feel like a tent in here. A little bit open to the air, but I think that kind of makes sense for how peaked, for how steep I've made it. Oh, forgot a stair there. Okay, that's what we wanted, was a pillar in the middle. We'll put some of these to close it off. Let's do a lighter block. The buttons to look like we've pinned the tarp down. I think that's a nice detail. Not that you can see it all that well from far away. And then, of course, the lighter spire. And then, yeah, I think these to cover the dark oak. And we've done our handle issue again. And then, yeah, on these, Don't want them to look too floaty. And yep, we missed that one. Okay. I think we're good now. We just need a pillar in the center. Okay. There we have it. So with the fence blocks in the middle, it allows this to be totally lit during the day. So it doesn't feel too dark in here. Which is really nice because we're kind of hurting for lighting. In fact, we'll have to go get some more torches later. Some more coal for torches later. Okay. Center pole for different arms of the canvas going out. Let's have a look at it from a distance. We might have to play with it in the future. Maybe these blocks could go to be stairs, but I worry that using too much of the pale oak blocks, it's going to start just turning pink instead of the white that I wanted it to be. But I think the texture is nice. I think it looks roughly. I think it's the right idea to start with. And hey, I'm not claiming that I'm perfect or able to make anything remotely close to perfect. Just trying some things out. All right. Yeah, let's grab some barrels and a whole bunch of chests, and we'll see what we can do next. Oh man, it just feels so cool to walk above the forest to get from building to building. That's actually it's really satisfying, especially when you can look out and see the different bridges. Okay, I was only going to build one building in this episode. I think we're going to build our third building, just because I'm excited to see it all start coming together. Okay, so the idea I had was to kind of stagger the chests like this around the center pole. The only issue I have with doing this is that it starts to feel really crowded up here. And if I'm being totally honest, we're not really all that stressed for space up here, are we? Because there's only so many block types that we can have. If we don't like this, we'll use barrels in the center. Okay, well for now, that is the storage system complete. The organization will have to slowly come over time as I begin to be able to fill up all of the barrels and chests. The color code, I think, makes sense. Red to red. And next we're going out to Dark Oak towards our next building. So no delay other than gathering more wood. Let's build this next tower. Also, enjoy the circle doors. Alright, we've been harvesting some dark oak. We probably don't have enough just quite yet. And I don't want to waste my bone meal trying to grow these dark oak trees. So, what we're going to do in the meantime, while we wait for them to grow, is head over to some of the caves and see if we can find some coal. Coal is the only thing we're allowed to mine because it can be mined with a wooden pickaxe, and it is one of the tools available to us. And lucky for us, we only have to go through one zombie. And a creeper. Make that 3 zombies. Now there's a creeper in there too. I see that coal as well. I tell you what. Not being allowed. Yep. That solved that problem right quick. Oh, look, iron. That's good to know for later as well. not being allowed to mine stone really makes the caves just feel like a scary, formidable place. Interesting that there should be so many spiders. Okay. I think the coast is clear. We're gonna grab this coal and get out of here. Okay, we're done in the caves. Got that one. That was really lucky for us to find that coal so easily. And back to safety. I tell you what, building that wall first was probably one of the best moves I made in terms of just the vibes of how the early game is. Of course, I could do a lot better at wearing my leather armor and keeping better, new tools on me to replace the old ones. But it kind of just increases the feeling of low level Minecraft. I think it makes the game feel more real, a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more fun. I'm enjoying the challenge. Okay, we got 17 coal out of that. Let's stash this away. And the pickaxe, we still can mine a couple things with it. We haven't used it all up. And while we were gone, we grew just one whole dark oak tree. Nice. Ouch. Okay, so I was thinking it through. We've got our dark oak. We're ready to build our tower. And I think it's going to go out here in this direction to the north towards the mountain. And I grew this tree here. I was considering building the tower like attached to the side of a tree. I don't think it's going to look right. I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to build a giant tree stump that we're going to build the tower on top of. The reason why we're going to do that is because we're on a hill up here. The whole farm, if you guys remember, is on a hill. It's actually part of the reason why it was a close thing getting our aqueduct to work the way that it did, to get the water to flow down just right. The storage building is even up on a higher hill, and so to come out here and to build a tower, I think it would just look too tall. So we're going to try and gain maybe about this height. We're going to try and gain it back by building a sizable tree stump. So I'm going to chop this tree down and get building. Boy, I hope this works. You guys thought you were watching me having this all planned out, gonna make a nice little build. No, I don't even know exactly what I'm doing until I start doing it. So yeah, let's hope that this works. And we covered this up with the planks. We put a torch down there so we don't create a mob farm. So now we have a base upon which we can build the watchtower. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a bunch of fences on the side of the trunk, so it kind of feels like there's brackets underneath it. We may look back on this build and go, wow, that was dumb. But for now, the idea's here, and we're just gonna build. Here goes nothing. Alright, I figured I'd stop here and explain what's going on. We've got a tree inside of a tree. We're making the fake stump bigger because the small one just looked awful. I walked away to go mine some spruce wood, and I came back and I looked at the skinny little stump that the tower is perched on, and it just looked so wrong. So I know that I said I don't care about being perfect, but I do care about not looking ugly, and I tell you what, this looked ugly. So we're going to tear it down, and we'll make it look better. We'll make it look a lot better. Okay, we're right at the end of getting the roof of the tower done. You guys will see when I zoom out. It's got this nice, like, cone shape to the tower. We are done with the tower. We have our nice lookout. We can see the lake. It looks kind of cool with the mist off in the distance. Now let's look at it. Let's look at the tower from a distance. It definitely sticks up above the trees, way above everything else. Gosh, there's that shape. Yep, that's that really nice cone shape that I was going for. It's perfect. And combined with the dark oak, it makes that spruce on the roof look really light, actually. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like it. Okay, so we got the shed cleaned up. Now there's a table and a lot less storage in here. Kind of it can act as a shed. I just kept the 3 main chests with some extra barrels for, whatever we want to keep in here. But now this is just the shed for the garden. Nothing else is stored in there. So now let's go up to the actual storage room and see what we've ended up with. Okay, so in the storage room, we now have plenty of space in here. We've got a chest for each different wood type, once I eventually have a bunch of leftover stairs and slabs and planks like this. And everything is nice and sorted. Luckily, there are exactly, what is that? 3, 6, 9, 12? Yeah, 12 chests for the 12 different wood types. These 2 are technically the nether trees. So we have all the wood covered, and then in this side we have room for things like miscellaneous storage and tools and all the other things. And then here we've got dirt and, oh, that's for later, and plants and mob drops and whatnot. So there's the storage all put together, and I think it's really nice. It's with all the open windows, it's actually pretty easy to know which direction is which. So hopefully we won't get lost in our circle storage. And if I'm being honest, I think we have enough storage without these middle chests. So I'm going to take them down so it feels a little bit more open in here. Alright, okay. Alright, now it's fixed. And it does feel a lot more open. I think that's really nice. We might put trapdoors around that. Let's see how that would look. Actually, come to think of it, we could make this be both good building techniques and useful if we put shelves around it. And with the way that the shelves work, we could make that middle block a redstone block eventually when we get to the point where we can have redstone. And it could look really cool. And it could be useful as well, because we would have an extra bit of storage. Oh yeah, that feels nice. Makes it feel nice and sturdy, and we can put stuff in there. So, there you have it. We have the storage situation taken care of. Now let's go enjoy the sunset from the top of our tower. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to see you guys in the next one. We're going to do, hopefully, something a little bit less of a big project, something a little bit more casual, something more fun, but we're going to keep progressing the world, we're going to keep working on the treehouse, and we'll see you guys next time. Later!